third game, the intensity of the playoffs. You can see it in these guys right now. Murray trying to shake Caruso. Here's a three-pointer. Oh, it's good! Jamal Murray.
Well, game ball tonight for the Nuggets should go to Jeremy Grant.
Oh, yeah.
His energy at both ends were fantastic. Obviously, you know what Murray and Jokic did.
How about Murray? Oh, just pours it in. Oh, Jamal Murray with an exclamation point.
Welcome back to Playoff Central Live. I'm Stephanie Ruddy, joined by Jim Jackson. Thrilled you guys are still here with us this evening. How about it, Jim? Jamal Murray showing off at the end.
You know, the beautiful thing about this, Stephanie, is we're watching the maturation process of a young man kind of growing in his game. Last year with the disappointment of losing to Portland, but now having a chip on their shoulder, trying to figure out figure out how to lead his team. And a lot of times we see the buckets and the scoring, but it's the energy and the effort that he's bringing each and every night. It was on full display I thought, in particular, late in the game when the Lakers made their run, you need to have somebody to lean on, okay? Now Jamal Murray is starting to get in that category as that point guard that not only can score, but he places his team in the situations now that they can be successful. So outstanding performance of this young man.
Jamal Murray started things off with a tear. Look at these highlights. This is the end of the game,
Murray
Jim.
Trying to shake Caruso. Here's a three-pointer. Oh!
I mean, just big-time shot. I mean, just the ultimate confidence, but then again, coming out of bounds right here, the excellent pass, the playmaking, but again, it's not just about scoring. The scoring threat will open up opportunities, not just for yourself, but for your team. And AD, if you don't get out of here far enough, you know I can stroke it right here by the sideline. Just a beautiful effort down the stretch of the game. But the thing I love about it, he was poised, he was concise, he knew exactly what he needed to do to end the game.
Jamal Murray ended up with 28 points, 12 assists, which is a career playoff high for Jamal Murray, and 8 rebounds, a near triple-double. But he didn't do it alone. His teammate Jokic set the tone very early, scored in the first quarter, and you might have noticed, Jim, that the energy level was high, starting with his play.
Well, part of the issue is when you're down 2-0, the Lakers have to come out and play and match the energy of their opponent. They didn't do that. It was incumbent upon Denver, in particular their superstars, Jokic, to come out and play extremely hard, to play decisive, to play direct, and that's what they did. They put the Lakers back on their heels. Now, again, a young team, you're going to give up some leads. Every team does that in the league, but they were able to finish. But the start, to me, was very important because they were able to set the tone on how this game was actually going to go. So they made the Lakers play catch-up all game long. And when you do that a lot of times, even though we've seen Denver come back, the result is you end up falling up short, and that's what the Lakers ultimately end up doing.
Well, it was well chronicled what happened in Game 2, right? Jokic and Anthony Davis down the stretch. Mano a mano. They both were the only two that scored in the last 5 minutes. Fast forward to tonight's game, and you see in Game 3, Jokic still on fire in the first quarter. Anthony Davis, not so much. He only had 2 rebounds the entire night, Jim.
Yeah, well, you know, here's the thing, too. He had to work so hard to get his shots. It was a time period late in the game where we saw LeBron James bring the ball up the court. They kind of had to wait for Anthony Davis to join the remaining 4 guys on their side of the court, which means that he was tired. So if you're Denver, of course you take advantage of that. How you do that? You put him in pick and rolls. You force him to have to play defense. Now, on the offensive end, his shots then ultimately come up short. So right now, smart plays by Denver on the offensive end to force Anthony Davis to have to guard a little bit more to tire him out because he couldn't complete the game like we saw in Game 2.
Well, what we did see was his teammate LeBron James turn it up. At the end of the game, you mentioned the Lakers went on a run, 19-2 run in the fourth quarter, led by Rondo's defense and LeBron James' dominance. His ability to continue to do that had another triple-double tonight.
Well, he did. I mean, LeBron played fabulous, but it's a little too late because when you get down the amount of points he did, 18 to 20 points, you expend so much energy to get back in the game again. Not only did he lock up, but Rondo fabulous in getting steals and getting the Lakers the ability to get out in transition and score the ball. But once again, what you end up seeing a lot of times is that effort is not rewarded by the score, because at the end of the game you come up short. Denver was able to kind of get their second win, respond when they had the opportunity to complete the game.
12 times, made 10.
Let's hear what Michael Malone has to say.
Players in the world, and you know, we knew going in what we're going to get every night from Nikola, from Jamal, and then you always wonder, well, who's going to step up and be that third scorer? And tonight for us, obviously, Jeremy came through in a big way on both ends of the floor. So. You know, proud of Jeremy. It was great to see him have some success offensively, because he's been working so hard at it. So his hard work was paid off tonight.
Next we'll go to Harrison Wind. Harrison, go ahead.
Hey, Michael, obviously a big night for Jamal. He hit a lot of big shots for you guys, but some of the other parts of his game, I mean, how he was hitting Nicole on a lot of those pocket passes, specifically his passing, like, how big of an improvement have you seen from him in that, like, over the last year, I'd say?
Yeah, I think it's really improved. And when you look at these 3 series we've played so far, you know, he's starting to get the respect from the other teams. And they're game planning, they're blitzing him, they're double teaming him, they're giving him so many different looks. And that's what, you know, part of being an all-NBA type of player is about. And when you do that, you have to be a willing passer. So he gets 12 assists tonight. 4 turnovers. Obviously, as a team, we were up big in that fourth quarter. We allowed them to make it a game. They went to their zone. They turned up the pressure. And I believe we had 9 turnovers in the fourth quarter alone, which can happen. We eventually settled down, and Jamal made some big baskets down the stretch. But, yeah, I would say Jamal is a complete basketball player. He's not just a scorer. He's a playmaker. He can rebound for his position. And I think these 16, 17 playoff games has been the best stretch of defense that I've ever seen him play.
Next, we'll go to Malika Andrews. Malika, go ahead.
Michael, you guys were the team last game that was down big and then battled back, and then there was that yo-yo down the stretch. Being on the other side of that, does that help you in any way that you've been in their shoes into that mindset, so you know who you're playing against?
Yeah, well, you know, the clock starts moving really slow. You know, and especially when you have LeBron putting his head down and driving, Anthony Davis out there. But we know that there's a lot of time left. No lead is safe, especially against a team like that. And that's where I'm not sure what they cut it to, Malika, whether it was 1 or 3, but it got to be really close. And that's when I was proud that we gave up our lead, but we didn't collapse. You know, we withstood their run, their punch, and we had the poise to get ourselves out of it. And, you know, that's a sign of a team that's been in a lot of close games, to your point, and has won a lot of close games in the last 3-4 years.
All right, next we'll go to Mark Kisla. Mark, go ahead.
Basically following up on that, because my idea was you lost a really tough one in game 2, and they close it to 99-96 here. What gave you the belief that this time your guys would close it out and win this game?
Well, I think for me, what gave me the belief is that we've been one of the best closing teams and clutch teams in the last few years, and led by Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. And then when you had Jeremy Grant making the plays that he was making, you know, and we believe, you know, this is to me kind of similar to last series. Game 1, the Clippers blew us out. Game 2, we win. We felt in Game 3 we gave that game away against the Clippers. Well, the way we looked at this situation coming into tonight was they blew us out in Game 1. Game 2, we gave away at the end. And so we had to right that wrong and try to get a game under our belt, which we did tonight. So this gives us just that much more confidence, kids, going into this series, letting them know that we're here, we're in this for the long haul, and we're going to continue to fight and do whatever we can.
Next, we'll go to Rachel Nichols. Rachel, go ahead.
Jamal Murray's growth between last year's playoff and this year's playoffs is pretty exceptional. What would you say has gone into that?
You know, it's funny. Jamal and I have so many conversations, one-on-one conversations, a tremendous relationship with him, which I really value. And he came to me last year, you know, kind of after the playoffs, and he says, Coach, you know what drives me crazy and I hate is that when you say I'm inconsistent. And he said, and what bothers me is that you're right. He goes, I know that I have to be more consistent. And so I think he's made it a personal challenge because good players are inconsistent. They can get 30 one night, and the next night they get 8. Great players bring it every night. And I think what I've seen from Jamal this year, aside from the growth defensively, which has been tremendous, and just I'm so proud of him in that regard. But now I know every night what I'm getting from Jamal. You know, last year it was, we knew what we were getting from Nikola. What kind of game will Jamal have? Well, that's no longer the case. We have 2 superstars. We have 2 superstars in Nikola and Jamal, and a lot of other really good, young, talented players behind them. So I think the difference from last year to this year, Rachel, is just that consistency and the confidence that we all have in Jamal.
Next we'll go to Sam Amick. Sam, go ahead.
Michael, I'm curious, the last 48 hours, we see you 2 nights ago with that gut punch and the pain that comes with that kind of loss. Did you like what you saw from the guys yesterday, and how did you get back in a good space mentally?
Yeah, I had no doubt, Sam, that we were going to show up tonight. And the reason I didn't have any doubt is because we've won 6 straight elimination games. You know, everybody always has us packing our bags and leaving, but we're not ready to go. For some reason, we love this bubble. I can't explain that, but this team loves the bubble. And yesterday when we met and we watched the film, I started off by watching the last play of the game. You know, get the elephant in the room out of the way. Let's talk about this play, what happened. And when we're in this situation again, let's learn from it. Yes, we all take ownership. Let's learn from it. But after that, my goal was, when we got done with that film, they saw so many positive clips of us doing the right things, which put us in a position to win. And now we had to do that for more than just a second half. We had to do it for 4 quarters. And tonight we did it at a high level for 3 in the 4th quarter. Obviously we'll work on our zone offense tomorrow and taking care of the basketball, but a very resilient group. And I think this group has proven that time and time again.
Time for one more. We'll end with Matt Moore. Go ahead, Matt.
Michael, you went to a lineup with Jeremy Grant, the 5. You played PJ Dozier in this series, things that you haven't used a lot in the postseason. What was it that made you go to Grant at the 5, and how important is it for you to keep trying new things even in the Western Conference Finals?
Yeah, I think that's what coaching is. You know, I mean, you go into games with a certain mindset of, this is my rotation, this is what I'm playing, but each game takes on its own personality. Jeremy Grant was having a great game. I like Jeremy Grant guarding Anthony Davis. I like Jeremy Grant guarding LeBron James. Last year in OKC, Jeremy Grant was a power forward and a backup center. So he's shown his versatility, what he can do. And that group was playing really well. So I stayed with it to start the 4th quarter because there was no reason to go away from it. So, you know, as a coach, you want to put the 5 guys on the floor that are going to give you the best chance to win. And that might be a different player or group every single night. I trust all of our players, from PJ, from, you know, obviously Jeremy as a 5, and we're going to do whatever it takes to try to win these games.
All right, Coach, we appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Now let's head over to Frank Vogel.
The gap in rebounding is more about field goal attempts. I mean, they had 5 more offensive rebounds than us, but we had 10 more shots than them. So there's going to be more rebounds to get. I thought Denver played with great energy throughout the game. We didn't match it early; we matched it late. But they're a great basketball team, so credit them for the win.
Frank, so much in the transition of that 4th quarter comeback. What did you see in the first 3 quarters with Denver being a little bit more locked in the paint, a little bit of a struggle to break that down?
Yeah, they played a really good basketball game. They made shots, they made plays, they got to the free throw line. They played with great energy. I thought we were not as sharp as we could have been on both ends of the floor. We've been playing at a really high level, a little bit off there in the first half. But I like the spirit that our guys competed with down the stretch to try to make it a game.
Frank, there were a few times during the game that you guys made runs and got pretty close. What do you think it was that allowed Denver to push back and ultimately win?
Yeah, well, they're a terrific team, so they're going to make plays. You put yourself in an 18-point hole. It's tough to climb out of that. But like I said, our guys did make runs, showed some resiliency, had an opportunity to win the game. Couple situations. We had a turnover, a couple missed threes. We could have closed the gap or taken a lead. But again, great spirit to fight back in the game.
Frank, what allowed you guys to have some success with the zone defense in the 4th quarter?
Well, the activity. You know, I mean, that's what you know, as a coach, when your team gets down and, you know, you're looking for something to try to give your team a spark, you try to change the game. You know, sometimes it's the lineup, sometimes it's the coverage, you know, sometimes it's the zone defense. You know, throw it out there, just break their rhythm a little bit. It doesn't always work. It did tonight. And, you know, it's something we've talked about with our group, about playing some zone with this team to break their rhythm because they're so surgical offensively. And it worked down the stretch, but, you know, obviously the deficit was too much to overcome.
Hey, Frank, it's Bill. The Nuggets before the fourth quarter had outscored you guys in 5 straight quarters going back to game 2. Have they made some adjustments that you guys are still trying to figure out, and how concerning is just sort of the trend of what they've been able to do against you now over 2 straight games?
Yeah, both teams you know, are making adjustments on the fly, subtle things. You know, they didn't make any major adjustments, but just executing through the coverages, taking what the defense gives you. They're great at reading defense. They've been together for a long time, obviously. And you know, you do A, they're going to do B. You do B, they're going to do A. They're very good at that. Have gotten a little bit better as the series has gone along, and you know, we just got to be a little bit better on the defensive end. You know, just reacting to those reads.
How good?
Obviously, Denver took a very tough loss, came out emergency. I think that this loss, and you guys coming in with 3 and 3 definitely can have a similar effect in how you guys want to kind of make it into that.
Yeah, well, it has to. You know, this is the playoffs. We have to respond to a loss, and you know, we know how resilient this team is. You know, so we got to come out with great fight in Game 4.
Dan?
Frank, along Bill's question, those 5 quarters, it feels like you guys have been a jump shooting team a lot in that stretch. But then, obviously, that's what Denver's trying to get you. But you guys be more aggressive, and did you think that when things were going well, that it came off of attacking more?
There's no question. I agree with what you said. You know, when we settle too much, you know, we play into their hands. When we're attacking the paint, we're getting great looks every time we're touching the paint. So we definitely have to be more aggressive.
Will, back to you.
All right, yes, last 2 from me, Jim.
Yeah, Frank, the turnover issues, especially in the first half, how much of that was you guys and how much of it was stuff that they were doing?
Denver's a great defensive team. They're very good with their hands. It's a little bit of both always. You know, when it comes to the turnovers, we could be less careless, but you have to credit the defense as well.
Hey Frank, what did you think of Ronda's defensive effort in the 4th that helped you guys cut their lead from 20 to 3?
Yeah, he was a huge spark for us, especially when we went zone. You know, he's our best sort of activity communicator in those situations. Very good with his hands, gambling and whatnot, and it was a huge part of that run.
All right, anybody else here? All right, thanks, Frank.
Yeah.
We still have more to come. Jamal Murray playing terrific with a near triple-double, a career playoff high for him with 12 assists. We'll hear from him later. It's time now for our moments of celebration presented by Cherlon Champagne. It's Jamal Murray, Jim Jackson.
Down the stretch. Not only the 28 points, how about the 12 assists? When you draw so much attention, Steph, now it's up to you to make some plays. And then when you have some room, space to floor, you don't want to guard me, I'm going to make you pay. Jamal Murray is spectacular on both ends, not only scoring, but setting up his teammates at the end of the game.
And he had a little celebration dance there on his way back. And for the record, the Cherlon is delicious. Everybody at home, make sure you get some so you can have your own celebration. All right, Jim, we're lucky enough to have the sound of Jamal Murray when he stopped to chat with our Allie LaForce after the game.
Jamal, congrats on the win. Mike, a little close for you?
My bad.
28 points, more impressively, 12 assists. The offense was flowing right from the get-go. How'd you get these guys involved early, and how much fun is it when it's moving like that?
You know, we were moving the ball in the first half. Everybody was getting some of the sugar. And, you know, we kind of took pressure off me and Yoke. So, you know, when everybody's scoring like that and everybody's got a rhythm, you know, it's hard to stay with us for the game. But we kind of let it back into it, and some things we got to clean up so we can definitely be better for Game 4.
Always something to clean up. After digging into the film, though, from the first 2 games when you guys were trailing by big deficits, 15, 20 points, to a game now where you led by as many as 20, what'd you figure out about playing against this Lakers team?
I just think that when we're up, we kind of play down to how they're playing, the energy level. I felt like we were up by 15, but our energy wasn't there. The bench wasn't until we were in the half, we're kind of quiet. So if we can just pick our energy up and get each other going, we'll be a good spot. So Game 4, we try to get up and down like we did today and make it a fun game.
How do you avoid going down 3-1 to then play your best basketball going into Game 4?
3-1, not bad. No, we just got to keep fighting. I think we come up with the same energy and focus that we did today. If everybody's hitting and we're playing defense like that, like I said, we got on a run. We're the younger team. It's going to work in our benefit.
Now to Kyle Kuzma.
We just didn't play hard enough. That's kind of plain and simple. They came out with a big lead in the first half, and that kind of really hindered us. We were down 20 at one point, got it 10 at half, played a little catch up pretty much the entire second half, got it to 3, and then.
And now LeBron James.
All set when you're set.
All right, we'll be going, Mike, please. Hey, LeBron, wondering how you would react to the first 3 quarters before you guys made the run. What do you think was the difference that let Denver build that 20-point lead?
I think it was the same in Game 2. Same thing that we was able to get by, with the AD shot, turn the ball over too much. We put him to the free throw line. And, I give credit where credit is due, though. Denver came in and played exceptionally well. They played better than us, more aggressive than us through 3 quarters, 36 minutes. But we there's a penalty in the third quarter with like 9.5 minutes to go, and we had some turnovers that led to some easy buckets for them. We had 16 turnovers for 25 points, and we put them to the line 29 times. So it's not going to be winning ingredients for us if we continue to do that. And we knew that even after Game 2, we talked about that, trying to assure that. So we got to be better in that Game 4.
Frank talked about the importance of touching the paint off drives or whatever when the team is packing it like Denver has and so many teams have. What are some things, Ron, you guys can do better in Game 4?
No, I think offensively, at times we were very good. At times we weren't. I think we just got to do a better job, like you said, of Coach was saying, getting to the paint and once the defense collapsed, just finding our guy's weak side. Either if it's a guy that's slashing, through the weak side into the paint, if it's a guy that's spotted up on the outside, or if we're one of our bigs getting behind the defense for a lob. So Denver's been a pretty good defensive team all year, and we understand that. So I'm looking forward to seeing our film, our film session tomorrow, and continue to get better.
LeBron, the success you guys had in the fourth quarter, some due to zone defense, some due to activity. Was it just a matter of upping the intensity level? Was it giving a different look that Denver wasn't anticipating? How do you account for the run you went on?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think we played with a lot more energy, and we understood we had 12 minutes left to try to make a game of it. We was able to do that. We was able to switch some things up defensively, going zone here, going man here, trying to keep them off balance. But, when you dig yourself a hole like that, every shot that they make, every shot that we miss, is feels like the game is collapsing. So, we played, some pretty good ball in the fourth quarter, but those first 36 minutes hurt us, obviously.
LeBron, I wanted to ask you something off the court. You've spent so much time in the bubble talking about police brutality and the relationship of police and the black community. And then on Tuesday, you expressed your condolences to all of the officers in Compton who were shot, and talked about the need for nonviolence. There's this sort of narrative and this framing that emerges from some people that frames your position in talking about police brutality as something that incites violence against officers. And the LA County Sheriff obviously had that kind of implication last week, I think, when he asked you to contribute to the reward. I'm wondering what your reaction is when you hear those two things connected, and did you think it was appropriate for the sheriff to sort of bring that up and bring you into that discussion?
I've never, in my 35 years, ever condoned violence. Never have. But I also know what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And I grew up in the inner city, in a black community, in what we call the hood or the ghetto, however you want to picture it. And I've seen a lot of counts firsthand of a lot of black people, being, I guess, racially profiled because of our color. And I've seen it, throughout my whole life. And I'm not saying that all cops are bad, because I actually, throughout high school and things of that nature, and I'm around them all the time, and they're not all bad. But when you see the videos that's going on, and you can see all over not only in my hometown, but all over America, you continue to see the acts of violence towards my kind. I can't do nothing but to speak about it and see the common denominator. But not one time have I ever said, let's act violent towards cops. I just said that what's going on in our community is not okay, and we fear for that, and we fear for our lives. It's something that we go on every single day as a black man and a black woman and a black kid or a black girl. We fear that moment where we're pulled over or I just seen something I believe yesterday or the day before of a guy in Wisconsin was renting a house, and the next door neighbor called the police on him, and the police came in the house without a warrant, without anything, and arrested a guy, a black man, because he was sitting out on a porch. And if you can't tell me that's not racial profiling, then I don't know what the hell we're looking at. But I do not condone violence towards anyone, police, black people, white people, anyone of color, anyone not of color, because that's not going to ever make this world or America, what we want it to be. So, and I have zero comment.
Awesome.
All right, Kyle.
It's all right. I can switch on and off. I can do it.
But the turnovers you had, you mentioned the turnover issues. Is there a common denominator with where those are coming? Is it risk? Is it something Denver defensively?
It's some of the risk passes that we're making, including myself. I mean, I had 5 turnovers in the first half. I had 1 in the second half. So I understood what I was doing in the first half and made an adjustment. There's some passes that we've been able to complete throughout this season. That versus Denver, we got to be a little bit more careful and make more sound plays with the ball. And protect the ball, because, like you said, or like we always preach, every possession is very important. And when you give up 25 points off 16 turnovers, it's not good. And we did the same thing in game 2. We had 24 turnovers, and luckily it didn't bite us in the butt, but it should have. We just got to do a better job of that, and that's a conscious effort. Not only it starts with me, because I'm the point guard of the team, and then it trickles down to everyone else.
Dan.
LeBron, Jamal Murray had that elbow. Some people on the bench that thought it was maybe a play or two. They should protect it. Just talk us through that play. Do you think it was a play?
I was just setting the screen, and his elbow got high and was able to strike me across the jaw. I don't care about flagrant 1s or flagrant 2s. I don't want him to come out the game. I like the competition. I don't think it was blatant, but I don't know his mindset or at all. But I don't think he did it on purpose. And I was okay with it. Went down for a little bit. Got back up and was ready to play. So I was cool with the ruling. I was okay with them saying a flagrant 1, and I ain't here to fight.
All right, anybody else over here? Will, anybody on your end?
All good.
All right, thanks, LeBron.
Yep.
Now we're going to go to Nikola Jokic.
Of course, we know it's a game of runs. They had a really good run, and I think we kind of stopped playing, waiting then to just quit. which will not happen. And I think even we had open looks, we missed open looks, so they continue to play zone. I think, but at the end of the day, I mean, Jamal made a really big shots in the end of the game, and that's why we won the game.
All right, next we'll go to Joel Rush. Joel, go ahead.
Hey, Nikola, you scored 11 points in the first quarter. Was it your plan to go into the game with an aggressive mindset?
No, I mean, I don't think no. I mean, I'm just whatever. You know, if I can score, I'm gonna score. If I don't need to score, I'm not gonna. I mean, whatever. It happened that way, so I wasn't. I never going into the game. I'm gonna do this. So I'm just gonna take whatever games give me. So it's easier that way.
Next, we'll go to Sam Amick. Sam, go ahead.
Nikola, I'm wondering with the physicality the Lakers bring and Dwight, the way he's playing you, JaVale, and all those guys, after a couple of games, do you feel like you've started to figure out how to find your game within that?
I mean, it's, to be honest, they're doing their job, you know. I'm trying to do my job, so sometimes they win, sometimes I win. So it's a game. So I don't think about it as a matchup, you know. To be honest, I don't know what was the answer. So I'm just trying to play the game how it's supposed to be played, you know. So if they're aggressive, I'm gonna try to attack. Maybe if they're backing off, so I'm just gonna play the game. If that makes any sense.
Next, we'll go to Mark Kislow. Mark, go ahead.
Hey, Nikola. I think some people, myself included, wondered after game 2, that tough last shot, if that was a dagger and how you would recover. But Coach Malone suggested that game reminded him a little bit of the game against the Clippers early in the series that you guys thought you gave away. So, to what degree and did that game 2 actually do you some good to think, hey, we can play with these guys?
Yeah, I mean, we were. I said we were against Portland last year. We played 4 overtimes and we lost, and then we won the next game. So, and then the Clippers too. So we just didn't want to quit. That's the mentality. Maybe they can beat us by 20, 30. They can beat us, but be about last shot. And but we just cannot quit, you know. Effort needs to be there.
Next, we'll go to Nick Kosmider. Nick, go ahead.
Nikola, Monte Morris kind of, last year said that I've got to be better in the playoffs. He sort of promised that after that first experience that he was going to be better, and he has been. What's been the thing that you think Monte has most brought you guys?
I mean, he's always good. You know, I think he doesn't have a bad game. That means sometimes he cannot score, sometimes but he's doing the right thing that he's supposed to do. He's helping us to win the games. You know, sometimes it's the matchup, sometimes it's just the circumstances on the floor. You know. That we cannot have him on the floor, but I think he's doing a really good job of making play for others, and when he's open, he's knocking the shots down. So he's playing really good for us.
Next, we'll go to Alex Lapido. Alex, go ahead. Go ahead, Alex. You're unmuted, Alex. Go ahead. All right, we'll go to Mike Singer here. Mike, go ahead.
Nikola, Malone just said you guys have 2 superstars, yourself and Jamal. How much faith do you have in him from what you've seen over these past few playoff rounds, and where have you seen him grow and kind of meet the moment with his play?
I mean, when he was, he was injured before when we came here. He was kind of struggling. Is it the shoulder? Is it the elbow? What? I don't know what was it. but I really believe in him, you know, and I think he can make the big shots, and he's built for the big shots. So I really truly believe that he's a superstar, and he's a really big part of this team. So he carried us today and bunch of nights. So I'm really glad that he's my teammate.
Next we'll go to Bob Nikolai. Bob, go ahead.
Hey Nicole. Yeah. Hey Nicole. It always helps that when you and Jamal are really going to have a third person going. How much did Jeremy's game tonight help you guys?
Yeah, I think Monte played really well too. I think Jeremy played amazing. He in that third quarter, I think he had like 10, 12, 15 points. I don't know how many, and he was really aggressive. He was going to the rims big, and that's what we need from him. So he was going to the defense, and he's a big guy. He can finish around the rim. So we are really he played really well today, and he's going to do that in the next games.
We have time for one more. We'll end with Christos Saltas. Go ahead, Christos.
Hello, Nicola. Congrats on the win. First of all,
Thank you.
how important for you was to react after the loss of the game 2 of the series? And also, do you believe that this win will give you the momentum for the next games?
No, it seems like the every series is kind of the same for us. Even Utah, we lost the first. Did we? No, did we? The first game? Oh yeah. So it's not. I mean, just. I think the game before when we lose it, we kind of saw that we can play with them. The first game they were just really aggressive. They were making shots. And we were kind of one step slower than them. They were kind of surprising us in every by the pace, by the rebounding. So we were in second game. We kind of knew what we're gonna see on the floor, and today it was just a really good night for us. We're playing really good defense, I think, and we need to figure out that big run that they had. We cannot let that happen. But yeah, it was a big win for us today.
And we'll do it, Nicola. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. It was my pleasure, like always.
Time now to take a look at our winning performance, fueled by Gatorade, featuring none other than Nikola Jokic. 22 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He was terrific, helped his team win. They are now one game in terms of wins, 2-1 against the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. Anthony Davis of the Los Angeles Lakers sat down. Let's listen.
Most in this game about the way you guys struggled kind of up until that fourth quarter. What was the top of mind thing for you?
First 3 quarters, they're more physical than us. They play more desperation. They play harder. They were getting to 50-50 basketballs. They were the aggressors. And it showed in the first 3, and then in the fourth quarter we started playing our style of basketball, able to get back, cut us a 3. Had a chance to take the lead, but when you're down, 20, and you're trying to battle back everything, has to go right. Kind of have to have a perfect storm, and we had opportunities. Then they made plays at the end, but we just didn't come out very aggressive and physical tonight.
Yeah, so the rebounding battle was a big one tonight, AD. You've had at least 10 rebounds in almost every game. Tonight they didn't seem to come your way. Did you notice anything specifically on the glass for you?
No, I got to do a better job on the glass personally. I can't have 2 rebounds for the entire game, so I have to be better in that aspect. But it's unacceptable. I mean, there's not really much I can say, but I just have to be better.
Anthony, it's Dave. You guys have won 6 games in a row, and obviously your last game was that euphoric ending. Did you think any of that contributed to the level you came out with tonight? Just that things were rolling so well for you that maybe you lost a little bit of edge or a little bit of sharpness coming into tonight?
No, I mean, they're a good team. I mean, they're going to keep battling, they're going to keep fighting. That's kind of been their MO all entire playoffs. You know, they're a team that's not going to go away. We don't expect them to go away. We have to be better, though. I mean, we turn the ball over crucial times. You know, we miss a lot of shots, especially from three. We didn't shoot the ball well from three tonight, as we've been doing in all other games. But we just have to be better. But we didn't, you know, come out, you know, slow because of the game before.
Hey Anthony, you guys obviously still lead the series, but really going back to halftime of Game 2, Denver has been the aggressors and has kind of set the style. What do you guys need to do to really kind of reclaim control of this series?
Well, we're still up 2-1. We have control of the series. We just got to come out in Game 4 and play our style of basketball. We can't turn the ball over. We can't put them on the line. Our defense was great in the fourth quarter, and we got to be able to do that for all 48 minutes. We can't not play in the first three and then expect to win the game in the fourth. So if we come out and play our style of basketball, pushing the pace and being scrappy and being aggressive especially on defense, we'll be fine.
Awesome.
Huh?
When you guys were making that back down to the lead, why do you think that you guys were so connected in that defense? You guys have struggled a little bit defensively in the early parts of the game. And how close did you really feel to that?
I mean, when you're down, especially 20, you got to be on the string. You can't have mistakes. And obviously, we switched our defensive scheme up, our look up, and kind of took them out of some of the things that they wanted, and we were able to get stops and score in transition, which we've been all season long and all playoffs long, being able to score in transition. We were able to do that, get some easy buckets, and I mean we were right there. I mean we're down 3, 98 1-on-1. Kenny comes in wide open look. We all thought it was good. And it's a tie game. If he makes that, it's a tie game, and anything happens. But we on a roll. We had that missed three, and then we, me and Doe messed up on a fast break opportunity where it should have been a guaranteed 2 points. But we were right there. We kept fighting, and we know how we got to play going to Game 4 from start to finish. We can't get this team nothing easy. It's a team that you have to put them away. You can't just expect them to go away.
Yeah.
I apologize if this was already asked. Do you feel like over these last maybe 5 or 6 quarters that you guys have become too much of a jump shooting team? How can you fix that? You guys can try. I know those are the shots that are there, and that's what that wants you. Other ways to be more aggressive, and I feel like you guys need to be more aggressive in attack.
They do a good job of pulling in. We have guys who can shoot the basketball. We've made shots the entire playoffs. Guys have made shots for us. Like I said, this is maybe the first game in a while where we shot poorly from three. Like I said, guys have had open looks. Danny had open looks tonight. Kenny had open looks. So shots that we normally make, we just missed tonight. But they're going to continue to give it to us, and we got to be able to knock down shots. We feel like we're a good jump shooting team, but we have to also realize that they close out very hard. They don't really stop short. They get good contests on our jump shots. So pump fakes and driving to the basket, re-driving and finding a open teammate is also a solution. But we're gonna continue to play our style of basketball. If the shot's open, we want you to shoot it. With no hesitation, no thinking. And if you don't want to shoot it, drive the basketball and create for yourself or for another player.
Will, any on your end?
I'm good here, thank you.
All right, thanks, AD. Thanks, everyone.
We will be back with more Jamal Murray with his near triple-double performance, 28 points, 12 assists, 8 rebounds. We will hear from him after this.
Everyone's so busy keeping up. Forget about the Joneses. We all on our telephones with the texts and the tweets and the beats. What he said, she said, can't even follow the thread. Down the hole, we all